Hey everybody, I am Lucid Faith, and today I want to talk about 5 tips to help power level your crafters and gatherers in Final Fantasy XIV. Now, a majority of these tips have to do with the Ishgardian Restoration area, which I just unlocked and it's a ton of fun to play in. If you haven't unlocked that yet, link down below to the official guide on how to access it and get started. But without further ado, let's jump in. Alright y'all, first tip. In the firmament, in the Ishgardian Restoration area, you can gather nodes using your miner and botanist. Now what's really cool is that these nodes do not spawn randomly. Instead, they spawn in a counterclockwise path that goes around the entire map. Now, an example of this is on screen now. This is going to be for the botanist nodes. Now, links to the guide that has these images and the images themselves in the description below. Shout out to the Balanced Discord for putting this together, and this person's name that I can't actually pronounce. So, these paths, there's a blue outside path that goes around the outside and a red inner path. They give slightly different resources. You can't go wrong with doing either one. What you're going to do is when you first spawn into the firmament, just start heading to the left, go counterclockwise. You're going to run into the 2 circle nodes on the map. Those will be predeterminedly spawned for you. All of the circle nodes are actually the starting points for any of this. And then once you mine that or gather it, the next node will spawn and then you'll continue down the line. Makes your life so easy. Now, the other thing I love about the firmament and this entire thing is that they give you a giant laser gun to blow up monsters to gather materials. It's amazing. So, what's cool though, is you'll get consistent drops from all of the monsters. When you blow up a monster, the drops are not random, and every monster spawns in a consistent area. So if you're looking for certain materials, you can go find where monsters spawn and then blow them up with your etheric auger. It's amazing. Link in the description below to the guide of what monsters drop what and where they spawn. So tip number 3 has to do with fishing, and it's a bit of an unfortunate tip. The reason is I am not recommending to level fishing in the firmament. Reason for that is I feel like the XP rates aren't as great as other options, and the materials you get you can acquire other places in the firmament easier. So first off, XP rates. There is a minigame known as ocean fishing in Limsa Lominsa. If you don't know what this is, guide down below, check it out. You can get a shark mount out of it. Great way to level your fishing class. Secondly, the materials that you can get. You get them by catching the fish and then desynthesizing the fish. And that will give you materials for miners and botanists. But if you wanted mining and botanist materials, you could just go get that. And fishers don't get to use the laser cannon, which is, for me, half the fun. So for leveling, it doesn't seem worthwhile. But if you are a max level fisherman, I'm sure there's things you can do here. Link down below as well to a guide from the Fishers Discord on exactly where to use your bait, what fish you can get, and so on. So tip number 4 might be a bit of a controversial one, and that's to use crafting macros to help you level. Now, these macros will be linked in the description below, along with links to a site called FFXIV teamcraft.com to help you look at these macros and learn how they work. Now, the reason I say to use macros, specifically in the Ishgardian Restoration area, is because you will have to hit certain collectability requirements to turn in items for a large XP bonus. So the collectability is another meter when you're crafting, and it goes in tandem with your quality meter. Now, to turn in items to actually get that large XP bonus, you have to hit a certain point. With these macros, you'll hit the minimum point if you have the required stats. These stats, of course, are craftsmanship, control, and crafting points. Each macro tells you what is required to make it successful. So if you do these, you'll always hit the minimum amount and at least and get that reward. So what I recommend doing is start out using these macros. Look at what the macro does and learn why it does it. Then once you get comfortable, you can start utilizing those ideas and the methodology to hopefully hit the higher tiers of collectability, granting even more experience. Again, links will be down below for all of this. And if you don't know how to make a macro, we'll go over that here in 1 second. Okay, so to use a macro and to make one, what you're gonna do is come down to your system menu. From there, you're gonna go up to user macros, and then this window appears. Now, what you're gonna do is click an empty slot, go over to your guide where your macros are. You're gonna copy them. I would recommend using Control-C. Now, if you're on PS4, you'll probably have to type all of these in manually. I don't know if there is any kind of function to copy and paste on that. From here, go ahead and paste in your steps. Cool, they're there. But we don't have an icon or a name. So what I recommend doing, go to the top and then use this little command /macro icon, and then you just type in the name of the icon that you would like to use. I copy that, paste it over, and then for the name, I name it whatever it wants. So for this one, this is a level 20 crafting macro. I'm probably going to delete this. As you see, I already have a level 20 crafting macro, and I went for 50, 40, and 30 as well. Now, once you've actually made them, you just take it, drag it to your hotbar, and then when you're actually crafting, you'll just click on it and it goes off and works. So that's how you set up and use a macro. Now, my fifth and last tip for power leveling your crafting and gatherers is with gear. Now, for the gear, I struggled with what gear to use, what's the next step. I really struggled with progression of my gear. So after doing some searching, I found a website linked in the description below that lists all of the gear progression for both gatherers and crafters. What's really cool is you can scroll through it, click on the gear you're interested in, it'll pull it up, show you what it looks like, show you its stats, and show you if it's craftable, buyable from a merchant, or either. For me, it made my life a lot easier, especially for my crafters, and then getting a set of each level range or every few levels and having those on hand and keeping them as I'm leveling up all my crafters made my life a lot easier, and I hope it'll help you too. And those are my tips for power leveling your crafters and gatherers in Final Fantasy XIV. I'm Lucid Faith. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. In addition to that, if you want to chat more about this or anything else, for instance, you can come over to my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/lucidfaith. We do stream there every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, starting at 6 o'clock Central. So y'all, that's it for me. But one last thing, remind each and every one of you that you matter. I'll see you in the next one.